Hey guys, Dalek44 here. I need no introduction, but I got one anyway. I'm sure you're all familiar with the Sonic the Hedgehog live action movies by now, right? The first Sonic the Hedgehog movie, released in 2020, took the world by storm, breaking the curse that video game adaptation movies are bad. Then its sequel managed to top what the first movie introduced to us. We then got a Paramount Plus series about Knuckles the Echidna, and the cinematic universe for Sonic the Hedgehog is still going strong to this day. With the first two movies already being big hits in the box office, it was no surprise that a third movie was going to be in the works. And we ended up getting Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is a 2024 action-adventure comedy film based on the Sonic the Hedgehog video game series. It brings back our favourite characters Sonic, Tails, Knuckles and Dr. Robotnik, while introducing two newcomers into the movie series, Shadow the Hedgehog and Professor Gerald Robotnik. The movie has a funny filming history to it, as it took place during the 2023 SAG AFTRA strike. Due to this, filming for the animated characters began in September of 2023, while filming with actors began that November in London, and production ended in March 2024. And the movie was released to the world in December the 10th, 2024. We all know that it's sometimes impossible to make a sequel just as good or better than the first film, but Sonic the Hedgehog 2 managed to succeed in that when it came out in 2022. But did Sonic the Hedgehog 3 succeed in beating all of its predecessors? Let's take a look. Sonic celebrates the anniversary of his arrival on Earth with Tails, Knuckles and their adopted parents Tom and Maddie. When out of nowhere, gun director Rockwell arrives and recruits Sonic, Tails and Knuckles, dubbed Team Sonic, to help apprehend a new threat named Shadow the Hedgehog in Tokyo. However, he overpowers the three and escapes. Team Sonic meets with now Commander Walters, who informs them about Shadow's past. Suddenly, Dr. Ivo Robotnik's drones attack and fatally wound Walters, who gives Sonic a key before he dies. They decide to search for Shadow without Gun's help as Rockwell discovers the missing key card and turns against them. Team Sonic encounters Ivo's assistant, Agent Stone, who denies involvement in the attack. They form an uneasy alliance with Ivo and track the stolen drones to an abandoned gun facility. As Shadow captures Stone and Team Sonic, Ivo meets his long-lost grandfather, Gerald Robotnik, and the mastermind behind Shadow's escape and the stolen drones. Gerald explains that the keycard is one of two needed to activate the Eclipse Cannon, an orbiting laser space weapon he designed for Gun, capable of targeting and destroying any location on Earth. He claims that he plans to use it to destroy Gun's headquarters in London, and Ivo agrees to join him. Shadow takes the keycard from Tails and activates a black hole to destroy the base as he, the Robotniks, and Stone leave. Team Sonic escapes using a rim portal and recruits Tom and Maddie to steal the second keycard from Gun's headquarters. But Team Sonic, Agent Stone, and even Robotnik discover that there may be more to Gerald's plans than what he's letting on. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 definitely succeeds in being better than the first two films in my opinion. The plot of the movie draws elements from the video games Sonic Adventure 2 and Shadow the Hedgehog, becoming darker than prior installments yet mindful of fan expectations and family appeal. This gave the team the freedom to use more darker and more mature tones compared to the other two films, and it's stuck faithful to Shadow's origin story from the video games. Ben Schwartz returns as Sonic the Hedgehog, an anthropomorphic blue hedgehog who has supersonic speeds and is the leader of Team Sonic. Ben Schwartz absolutely nails the part as Sonic like he did in the previous two films, but in Sonic 3 we got to see his more angry side, which is a side we'd never seen to this version of the character before. This is the first time we see this version of Sonic get really angry about something. Since we've known him to get upset, happy, egotistical and scared at times in the first two films, but this is the first time we see an angry Sonic the Hedgehog in this universe, which gives Ben the opportunity to show off his range as an actor, since at this point we were so used to his version of Sonic being so cheerful, full of life, very optimistic, and quite full of himself. So it's a nice twist to see a more angry Sonic in this movie. And because of how we've already known this version of Sonic, and of his abilities, it's actually kind of scary seeing him get really angry. And no matter how many times you've watched this movie, it's still kind of scary seeing Sonic so angry and full of rage. It's just something we're not used to seeing in the character. Colleen O'Saul-Nessie returns as Tails Prowers, the intelligent anthropomorphic yellow fox who can fly with his twin tails and creates gadgets that can alter appearances and disable security. This so far is the only time a video game actor has actually voiced one of the characters in a movie, and Colleen as always does a fantastic job as Tails, and we get to see a lot more of his creativity as he's helping the team break into Gunn's headquarters in London. Idris Elba returns as Knuckles the Echidna, a hot-headed and arrogant anthropomorphic red echidna warrior with super strength and the flames of disaster, a technique which allows his fists to burst into flames. Like Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and the Knuckles series, you can really tell how much fun Idris is having as the character. He absolutely nails the part, and you could definitely hear the fun and excitement in his voice whenever he says these lines. Tom and Maddie return in the movie as well, but their roles are more downplayed this time, since they took up most of the screen time in the first movie, and they had at least half as much screen time in the second movie, but this one they're more downplayed, so all the focus goes on Team Sonic. But they still play their parts in the movie in helping Sonic, Tails and Knuckles with their plans to stop Robotniks from taking over the world. And Jim Carrey returns as Dr. Ivo Robotnik in the movie, a mad scientist and Sonic's arch-nemesis whom he often refers to as Eggman. This film fulfills Jim Carrey's request that Dr. Robotnik would eventually become bloated, and as always he has a lot of fun with the role, really giving 1,000,000% with the character.
Doctor, we have visitors.
Really? I thought I was having an anthropomorphic nightmare, where the only person I could trust in the world showed up with all my worst enemies, while I was in a bathrobe, playing congas on my big fat belly!
I don't believe it. Eggman's alive?
And he's never looked worse.
Well, maybe this is what not giving a damn what you think I look like looks like. Let's do this!
You must be the long-lost grandson.
And you must be another stinking hedgehog.
And you must be Mr. Assface. Just kidding.
As well as the other character he plays in the film, but I'll get to that in a second. We also get to see him wear his modern video game counterpart's outfit. I do admit I will miss the original outfit he had in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, but I do like the modern modifications they made to his video game outfit, making it look like it was made in a factory with modern technology. Like the first two films, you can really tell how much fun Jim was having playing Dr. Ivo Robotnik. We also have the return of Ivo's assistant Agent Stone, who has a lot more to do in this film, as we explore more of his relationship with Ivo, how the relationship is abusive but Agent Stone still sticks by his side because he is unquestionably loyal to the Doctor. And we're introduced to newcomer Shadow the Hedgehog, voiced by Keanu Reeves,
Where's my autograph book?
an anthropomorphic red-striped black hedgehog that was a part of a secret government program called Project Shadow. He has lived through tragedy and seeks revenge. When Shadow was revealed in the mid-credits scene of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, speculations have been going around on who would play the character. I can even remember seeing some Facebook posts from predicting that Hayden Christensen would voice Shadow, but Keanu Reeves really does play the part superbly in my opinion. He really brings out the tragedy and anger and revenge that the character is known for.
Gunn took everything from us, and now we are going to take everything from them. I've felt this pain for so long. It's all I know. I've been so blinded by rage, I thought I had no choice. The light shines, even though the star is gone.
Shadow the Hedgehog is definitely the perfect example for the Sonic franchise and how loss can affect us in the wrong ways. And I'm just going to come out and say it, I knew very little of Shadow's backstory before this movie, so in a lot of projects like Sonic Boom I always saw him as this really miserable, grumpy, angry character that just had it in for Sonic just because. But the movie does a great job at showing his backstory, how he lost a childhood friend and how he was consumed by anger and revenge. Whether you knew about Shadow the Hedgehog's origins for the video games or not, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 really is a good way to introduce you to the character, as well as getting to know his backstory and what makes him the Hedgehog he is today. Shadow is the perfect message on how the pain of losing someone can really shape us, how some people let it change who they are inside, and it turns them into monsters. And it also shows us the redemption of the character when he sees the error of his ways. And his backstory is all the more tragic with Alila Brown as Maria Robotnik, Gerald's granddaughter and Ivo's cousin. And those flashbacks really showed you how close they were with one another. But Maria seen Shadow as a person rather than just an experiment like everyone else in the lab. So you really can see how much Maria meant to Shadow and how much it hurt him when she was killed. And the battle between Sonic and Shadow before they team up to take down Gerald's Eclipse machine is one of the most epic battles I've seen in any film. And it's the first time Sonic doesn't hold back in any of his fights in the movies. He's really going for it out of anger for Shadow hurting his friend Tom. And you're proper on the edge of your seat on how the fight's going to end. Would Sonic realise the error of his ways and stop, or would he go through with ending Shadow once and for all? If you've watched this movie, you already know the outcome, but it's still an epic fight no matter how many times you watch it. And then we get the real main villain of the movie, Professor Gerald Robotnik, also played by Jim Carrey. Ivo and Maria's grandfather and the head of Project Shadow. Gerald Robotnik is another fun villain, being just as intelligent and egotistical as his grandson Ivo. And the fact that Jim Carrey plays him as well as Ivo is just the icing on the cake for me. This was very interesting to me when they first revealed the character in the trailers, marking this the first time I'd ever seen Jim Carrey play two characters on screen, since we all know he played Ebenezer Scrooge and the Spirits of Christmas in the CGI version of A Christmas Carol. But this has to be the first time I've seen him play two characters in a live action movie, where he has to play Dr. Ivo Robotnik and Professor Gerald Robotnik. And the way they pull it off in the movie is really impressive. It's like he's having a conversation with himself.
You do look like me, but fatter and older. And there's that funny smell, but the resemblance is uncanny. It's as if we're two characters in a movie being played by the same actor.
One Jim Carrey character in a movie is great enough, but having two Jim Carrey characters in the same movie is just top notch. Just seeing Jim Carrey play two characters on screen in the same movie is just phenomenal. And they managed to edit it really well so it really looked like there were two different characters in the movie, despite being played by the same actor.
For all the marbles. Good. I lost mine. A rare lung disease. And the longest word in the English dictionary. In numinal ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. In the saggy flesh. But looking pretty good for 110.
There's two Eggmen now?
W villains, W fun. Two Robotniks are way worse than one. If you weren't family, I could have got you like a pheasant. I mean, try to keep up. You're a heartless son. Rotten to the core. I'm surprised. Oh, Ivo. You'll know Maria. The moment I lost her, my family was gone forever. The only way to give Maria's life meaning is to destroy the world that took her from me. So I'm burning it all down!
It's just hilarious seeing these two versions of Jim Carrey just work off each other. The two Jim Carrey characters also brings up one of my favourite scenes from the movie, when they're dancing through the lasers at Gun HQ in London along to Galvanise. I can only imagine the song Galvanise was a choice by Jim Carrey, since Evil Grows was his choice in the first movie. And it's just such an awesome and hilarious moment seeing two Jim Carrey characters dancing to the song together while walking through deadly lasers. It's another great example of Jim Carrey having the same energy he had in the 90s despite his age, and I love it. And the fight scene between Ivo and Gerald Robotnik is one of the best fight scenes I've ever seen in a movie. It's one of those fight scenes where you're on the edge of your seat wondering who's going to win and what the outcome's going to be, and laughing your ass off at the same time. It's a lot of fun that way, especially with Jim Carrey practically fighting against himself. And it makes for a lot of hilarious quotes too.
I will not try to stop my elders from destroying the world.
A lot of fans had even speculated whether or not Jim Carrey would return to the franchise, since after the success of the second movie he announced that he was considering retiring from acting. So with this possibility, the makers of the movie confirmed that his role as Robotnik would not be recast in any sequels if he followed through with his retirement plans. Pretty much everyone was shocked when Jim Carrey announced that he was considering retiring from acting after the success of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And they were really happy when he announced that he was coming back for the third movie. Because let's face it, nobody could top Jim Carrey when it comes to playing live-action Dr. Robotnik. He absolutely owned the role and made it his own. But they were able to write a script good enough for Jim Carrey to consider coming back. And I'm really glad that he did. It gave us two Jim Carreys for the price of one. What's not to love? Just the fact that he was willing to come back to return as the character, as well as playing Gerald Robotnik in the movie, really shows how dedicated he is to the character and the movie franchise. The CGI in this movie is really top notch like the previous films. Seeing all the quills and furs on Shadow as well as the other characters, and just how impressive the Eclipse machine looks. This giant space cannon of death looming over the planet, ready to destroy it entirely. The Eclipse cannon is basically the Sonic the Hedgehog version of the Death Star from Star Wars, just without the exhaust shaft weakness. And it looks awesome in live action. It's just a great visual, especially when you see the two Robotniks and Shadow inside the machine. And as I said, this film played with darker tones compared to the first two films, with loss, tragedy, betrayal and all that stuff. It was as if the franchise was moving into adult territory while still being family friendly, and that's a hard thing to accomplish when you're making a movie intended for families of all ages. And shortening the roles of the human characters, with the exception of the Robotniks and Agent Stone, was a really good choice. It gave the Sonic characters more of a chance to shine compared to the first movie, especially since Tom and Maddie had massive roles in the first two films, so it was a really good choice to have them downplayed this time around and give more attention to the Sonic characters. Having the human characters downplayed in the third movie was really the right choice, since they got a lot of focus in the first two films, and having them downplayed this time gives the Sonic characters more time to shine, and more time to focus on Sonic lore. And if you stuck around after the credits, then you would have seen the mid-credit and post-credit scenes, teasing Sonic the Hedgehog 4, where we have the reveal of Metal Sonic and his army of metal hedgehogs, Amy Rose, and the fact that Shadow survived. Yeah, that's kind of a spoiler for like the two of you who haven't watched this movie. Ever since the first movie came out, Metal Sonic has been a character that I've been wanting to see come to the cinematic universe for years. And the mid-credits scene with him is just an awesome introduction to the character. He just translates really well into the live-action world. Just seeing Metal Sonic sneak up behind Sonic and trying to shoot him was awesome enough, but then they dropped the bombshell even further by showing an army of Metal Sonics, really showing that we're going to be in for one wild ride with Metal Sonic and his army of metal hedgehogs. And the nighttime scene was honestly the best way to introduce the character and his army. They all just look so damn intimidating during the night scenes in the forest, with their glowing red eyes and their ability to shoot lasers from their hands. It's just a really kick-ass way to introduce this well-loved villain. And the fourth film is currently set to be released in 2027, which I'm really looking forward to. Having Amy Rose teased in the movie as well was also an icing on the cake. And if you remember your Sonic video game history, then you'll know that Amy Rose started off as a damsel in distress for Sonic to save in Sonic CD, but as time went on she became more of an active character, getting to join Sonic on his adventures, taking down a couple of Robotnik's badniks, and becoming a great ally and better friend to Sonic. And the way she's introduced at the end of this movie really makes her look like a badass. Her silhouette against the moon that was split in half by the eclipse, and just seeing her taking down all those Metal Sonics is just really badass. And I'm looking forward to seeing how they handle her in the next movie. And how they're going to handle the Sonic and Amy relationship thing in Sonic 4, we're going to have to wait and see. But I'm looking forward to it already. And it may seem like the Dr. Robotnik is gone for good, but given how much Jim Carrey loves playing the character, and the fact that he survived near deaths in the first two films, you could bet he'll probably be back for the fourth installment. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is considered to be the best in the cinematic Sonic universe, and having seen it multiple times myself, I can't help but agree with them. It takes the Sonic cinematic universe in a whole new direction, being a little mature but still being family friendly at the same time. It introduces more Sonic lore to the live action universe, opening up the possibilities for future installments in the franchise. Jim Carrey has a lot more to do as Ivo and Gerald Robotnik, and Shadow the Hedgehog gets the live action attention he deserved for this film. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 tops the first two Sonic the Hedgehog movies in every way, with the effects, the characters, the story, and more Jim Carrey in one movie. What's not to love about it? Like the first two Sonic movies, I highly recommend checking out the third film if you love Sonic the Hedgehog and Jim Carrey. It's a way past cool ride that you definitely don't want to miss. I'm Dalek44, and I'll see you next time, folks. We all know it could be a gamble to make a sequel just as good or better than the first movie, but Sonic the Hedgehog 2 managed... Chew? Sonic the Hedgehog 2, not Chew. What am I thinking?
We were two characters in a movie, being played by the same actor.